Alrighty, I've been hearing about this Trump banning minting of the penny, so here we are on the Associated Press, AP. Trump says he has directed U.S. Treasury to stop minting new pennies, citing rising costs. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Harper's administration in Canada did the same thing with our penny a long time ago, because it was like for every 1 penny minted, it cost 1.5 pennies to make 1 penny. Anyway, there's a video, so I'll throw that in and take it from there.
President Donald Trump says he has directed the U.S. Treasury Department to stop minting new pennies, citing the rising cost of producing the 1-cent coin. The U.S. Mint reported losing $85.3 million in the 2024 fiscal year on the nearly 3.2 billion pennies it produced. But doing away with the penny could pose challenges for business owners and employees nationwide.
It's not necessary we need a change for work. Quarters and pennies, everything. If they stop doing it, it's no good for me.
Okay, so first off, it has to be said, I could barely understand her. But I think I got the gist of it. She's worried that if they get rid of the penny, she's going to have to round off to the nearest number and she's going to lose money. That is a possibility. However, if somebody buys something that's $4.84, you round off to the nearest 5, so you'd actually make money. Second, when people are rummaging through their pockets looking for pennies, that takes time, and there's a saying, time is money. So she might actually save money by not having people rummaging around in their pockets for that 2 cents.
If there were no tax, then we could have priced our goods at, let's say, 105 or 110 or 125. But since there are tax, we have to include most of the price usually winds up with, let's say, 106 or 107. And then we have to deal with the pennies. How we'll do that, we don't know yet.
So again, I could barely understand him, but the gist is he was talking about like 106, 107. Well, in the case of 106, yeah, it'd be rounded off to like either, I think 105. 107 would be rounded off to 110. So again, he wouldn't actually lose money. You just round it off to the nearest number. And again, when you have people waiting in line because that one person is digging through their pockets just to find 3 cents, you could have saved money by saving time. Example, if I go to a dollar store and there's this huge line and I just have like the 2 items, I'm just going to put the items back and leave because I don't want to wait.
It is unclear whether Trump has the power to unilaterally eliminate the lowly 1-cent coin. Currency specifications, including the size and metal content of coins, are dictated by Congress.
For far too long, the U.S. has minted pennies, which literally cost us more than 2 cents. This is so wasteful, Trump wrote in a post Sunday night on his Truth Social site. I have instructed my Secretary of the U.S. Treasury to stop producing new pennies. The move by Trump is the latest in what has been a rapid-fire effort by his new administration to enact sweeping change through executive order and proclamations. Now, the problem with executive orders, I'm not 100% sure, but can't they be rescinded by the next president? I'm not 100% sure though. Trump has not yet discussed his desire to eliminate the penny during his campaign, but Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency raised the prospect in a post on X last month. So, Trump just stopped minting the penny and everybody's freaking out. There's like, what, hundreds of millions of, if not billions of pennies in circulation? So, he just stopped minting them. You can still use them. Here's an example. I'm Canadian, right? Canada stopped minting the $2 bill, like what, more than 2 decades ago? The first toonie, if I remember correct, came out in 2001. If I went into a store with a $2 bill, and yes, I have some because I'm a bit of a coin collector, it would not be considered legal tender. And why? The toonie, the $2 coin, took its place, replaced it, making the $2 bill obsolete, null and void. If I remember correct, there was a grace period so that if people had $2 bills laying around, it would give them plenty of time to spend them. So, yeah, if I were to walk into a store today, it wouldn't be accepted. And again, like I said in the beginning, Canada stopped using pennies a long time ago. And guess what? I didn't even notice because I didn't carry around pennies with me. I just had some bills in my wallet. I buy something, I might get a few pennies back in change, and guess where they went? They went into a plastic bag because I didn't even bother carrying the pennies around. So getting rid of the pennies saves a little bit of money. Good. Here's something I heard on the internet. There's this company that actually makes the blank circles to stamp the pennies on. So surprise, surprise, they're a little upset. The mint also loses money on the nickel, with each of the 0.5 coins costing nearly 0.14 to make. Wow. It is unclear whether Trump has the power to unilaterally eliminate the lowly 1-cent coin currency specifications, including the size, metal coins, etc. So, because there's so many pennies in circulation, you don't need to mint anymore. That's basically all it is. Does he want to eliminate them? Maybe. Or he just doesn't mint anymore, which would save the government a whole whack of money, and you just use up the pennies that are already around. Because again, like I said, I have a great big bag of pennies that I don't even use. I'm sure there's lots of people like that in the States. Probably have jars full of pennies that they're not even using. Well, anyway, that's it for my thoughts on the matter. Take care out there in Clown World.